Okay, so episode 2, BB23. This season has been a lot better than expected and already so much better than last season and the season before it. So, yeah, last season we were complaining about boring feeds. This season it is hard to keep up. I've been watching it not as much as I'd like to, but in my free time I have it on and it has been pretty active and interesting, especially at times when I would think it would be boring, dead. So yeah, I woke up one morning to go to work and I was like, let me just see, usually house guests are asleep at that time, but they were awake and it was interesting conversations, strategy, and alliances and the whole mess that has been this week. It's just hard to keep up with all the alliances and everything going on and making sense of everything. It has been a very messy HOH week. So yeah, let's dive into this episode where we see nominations, this wild card competition. This is the first time we see the BB intro, and I really like the whole neon theme, but since it's a whole beach casino theme, I thought maybe they'd do something that has to do with the beach or gambling. I don't know. They usually do beach theme intros, and this time they're like, you know what, we want to try something different. But it's actually a beach theme. But, I actually do really like the neon theme. I think the logo looks really cool and it makes it really hip and modern. Some of them, I think only like 2, Alyssa and I think, who was the other one? Travis? Were in swimsuits and everybody else was in their move-in outfits. There was a lot of awkward dancing, which is funny to see. They tried different poses. So Frenchie in the DR was saying that he was close to taking that Double or Nothing deal, which, I don't know, I felt like it was pretty easy for him not to take the deal, and I think most people probably would not have taken the deal. I would not have taken the deal. Sarah Beth lies about her profession. She says she's a voice actress rather than a chemist, which I think it's a smart move. You don't want to show all your cards and show how brilliant you are. I just hope that she knows how to do a lot of different voices. She's an anime fan and she cosplays, so she does probably have a plethora of shows and voices in her head. But yeah, I would hope that she's able to recall some stuff if people try to ask her for that. So this episode, we haven't had those introductions yet where we see the interactions between the house guests and their reactions to each other. And we always see those, oh, I think this person's cute, or I would be in a showmance with this person. So Xavier, he does not want a showmance, but he says that there is eye candy in the house, and especially Alyssa. So, yeah, that's expected. He said Alyssa would put his nomance in jeopardy. Surprisingly, Claire did not lie about her profession. I thought she would. If I was an engineer, I probably would lie so I don't come off as such a threat. Engineers are smart, and I would think that she wouldn't want to show how smart she is. But, as a super fan, she probably has good reasoning behind it. So Frenchie says that he wants to go after the meatheads, not the women, and he says he does not want to put a girl on the block. He wants to target the meatheads, those strong guys. And we see a glimpse of how early his deal making started. He promised the guys from his heat safety. So, yeah. He's promised a lot of people safety. The have-not room looks horrendous. The jet ski beds and then those really hard beds. Derek F's, Big D's take on it made me laugh a lot. He's like, God bless y'all. He's so funny. I love his commentary. Frenchie and his deals. He has been going crazy making deals, and people are noticing people in his own team are getting a little bit annoyed with this, him pulling in many different people and not including them. I think Azza specifically has mentioned that, and people are really catching on to how he's easily manipulated, in a sense, how he's easily emotionally manipulated, and how the last person to speak with him has a huge impact on his decision and his thought process. Surprisingly, I think it was Christian that caught this, and I was surprised by that. He's surprised me in a sense that in competitions he does a really great job. His read on Frenchie was surprising. The people that I liked preseason are still the people that I like now. I really liked Tiffany and Azza, Xavier. I liked Derek X, and their, the whole drama with Derek X. But, I still like him too. I liked Claire a lot. I still really like her. So Frenchie's first target was Brent, and Brent opens up to Frenchie about his father and the whole experience of that and the impact it's had on him, and Frenchie gets all emotional, and he decides to work with Brent and not target Brent anymore, and that's something that they discuss, and Brent is aware that he was Frenchie's target, but he's no longer a target, and now they're working together. So it's just very confusing to keep track of everyone that Frenchie is working with. I don't know what the final tally is. Last time I checked, it was I think 11 people. I think first HOH could have been a really easy week, but considering there's so many people getting safety and then all these alliances and promises he's making, he's made it really hard. I think an easy bet would have been going after the team that got last place, which I guess he was trying to do with Christian. First HOH is supposed to be easy. It's supposed to allow you to make connections and alliances. After Frenchie moves past targeting Brent because they form a connection, he is focused on targeting Christian because that is the next meathead on his list. Then it's the wild card competition, and the Jokers do not play because they are safe. Each of the other teams have to send in one person from their team to compete for safety, and then they get something additional as well. Claire for the Queens does not want to play, and Caylin is interested in playing, so you see her kind of maneuver that and try to get him to play, and oh yeah, go ahead, do it. You want to do it? When it comes to the Kings, Sarah Beth is upfront about telling Christian that he should play. She says that she's safe, so she thinks that Christian should play, and then Christian's like, okay, I'm playing then. And he's really painting himself as a comp beast because he's been doing really well in competitions. Besides, that last place for the Kings. So the Aces, they leave it up to fate, and Hannah is ultimately picked. So the whole wild card competition, this whole safety competition reminds me of last season, the whole safety suite, and I immediately think back at Janelle and Kaser, and I feel nostalgic, and yeah, definitely a highlight of last season. So for the wild card competition, they have to find their phone, their keys, their wallet while making as little noise as possible, and it really seems inevitable. Some of these, they're gonna make noise. It's just whoever makes the least amount of noise, the least amount of time. I think you have to be under 5 minutes. If you're over, you get a penalty. Once they tally up all the penalties, noise score, whatever, Christian easily wins against Caylin and Hannah. And, he was moving the cups out of the way, and it was him trying to be quiet, and I thought he was spending a lot of time doing that, but he did a lot better than everybody else, so I guess he had the right strategy. It was definitely a funny competition to watch. Just the whole opening and closing of the doors. They lose so many points. The cans right in front of the door. Yeah, I think Hannah and Christian did learn, though, when they open the next doors, that, okay, gonna have to squeeze through there. Definitely be harder to squeeze through that door if you had a big booty. So good for Christian that he didn't. So after that, I guess the whole little surprise, the next part of it was spinning a wheel to see how many people from Christian's team will also be safe. He has the chance to save everyone, but it seemed pretty slim. He spins it, and it gets really close to being 3 and then lands on 1. He saves Xavier with the thought process of the girls saying that they are safe, that Frenchie said they're safe. I think he definitely would have chosen Alyssa if he would have known that Frenchie was going to put Alyssa up. Because Christian definitely has a crush on her. But yeah, Xavier definitely lucked out because it seems the target has been moving around and changing so very often. So yeah, it's good for him that Christian saved him. So it shows Frenchie rethinking the whole thing of his target, and since Christian's safe, what is he going to do? And he decides, based off of him observing Christian and Alyssa together, that, you know, he wants to target potential showmances. He wants to be the showman's killer. Frenchie asks Alyssa if she is in a alliance, if anybody has approached her about alliances. She says, no, not really, just like, you know, in her team. And then everybody's staring at her. She's like, why are you guys staring at me? And he's like, well, you were just talking. And yeah, I think that just solidified already what he wanted to do, which was put her up as a way of getting Christian. There goes not nominating women. So yeah, nominations are Caylin and Alyssa. Yeah. And it was the whole I had a dream fishing big fish speech. It was pretty short and to the point. And yeah, Christian's definitely not happy he's targeting his girl. I don't really think Alyssa's into Christian in that way. I actually turned on feeds and I saw that whole thing of Christian and Alyssa speaking with Frenchie about the nominations, Caylin too, and then Frenchie was suddenly working with them. Like I said, it has been so hard to keep up. I think definitely Alyssa was targeted because she's pretty and it seems like she would be in a showmance and the guys like her, so it's unfortunate. He ends up nominating Caylin and Alyssa. As of right now, what I think with live feeds who the target is, seems like it's looking like Travis. It was looking like Derek X. But yeah, Derek X won veto. Spoiler alert. But yeah, it's just been crazy. It's like whoever Frenchie wants to target, they suddenly become safe. But it's definitely been interesting. I'm really liking this season. Let me know your thoughts on this season, on what's been going on in live feeds, on what's been going on in tonight's episode. Do you like it? Do you like the competitions? Are you a fan of the cast? I personally really like the cast, and I think that it has been really interesting thus far, and it will continue to be interesting. So yeah, I think there's a lot of great people and a lot of great potential and a lot of interesting stuff going on that I'm happy with. It is hard to keep up with, so we have to be careful what we complain about, but at least it's interesting. At least the feeds are good. So yeah.